what is the magic of having a smaller dose, a micro dose, a mini dose, as opposed to a big dose?
Why do we take mushrooms at all? Let's think about that. There's a question, right? And so, one way is looking back on what we just said. Possibly it's to, like the Jungian psychoanalyst Jim Hollis says, like to restore the feeling function, to let down the things, the walls that hold our feelings in and hold the world at a certain barrier from us so that we can be touched by the world, so that we can feel what's really there, And if that's the case, then if you don't have enough, then you're not really going to get to the place that you need to get for those feelings to just move through you as the natural metabolic arc of both your feeling processes and the mushrooms sort of, the pharmacological actions of the mushrooms are able to sort of move those feelings through you to the place of giving you a type of meaningful experience that connects you with those feelings and gives you context for how to apply them into your life. And also, if you take too much, it could just be too much. And there's too much feeling, and then there's pain, and then there's anxiety. And the thing is, it's not just feelings, though. It's experience, it's narrative, it's perception, it's a sense of ego dissolution, for example, is in the dissolution of the normal barriers with which we define the difference between I and thou and I and it. And even, can bring up experiences that are of the ultimately weird, like properly weird, like aliens and other dimensions and entities and demons, and all these things can happen if you're deep enough on a big enough dose in a certain context, and then, wow, I just went in there thinking that it was good for me. It'd be good for me to heal my depression by eating some mushrooms, and now I'm grappling with the consequences of having been ravaged by demons for the last 3 hours, right? So, or having my entire sense of reality completely destroyed, and now I don't know who I am or what I'm doing or what the purpose of life is anymore. Okay, so I mean, for example, if I don't have enough water, well, I'm gonna be dehydrated. If I have too much water, I die. There's like a golden middle in there, right? Now, that said, with mushrooms, too much aside, you can build your way up to a lot as a consequence of the practice that increases your holding capacity, or compensating for not having that internal holding capacity by having external holding capacity in the form of a ceremonial circle or facilitator of some variety of it or another, where your ability to feel safe at that dose is as bolstered by your ability to feel safe with that other person despite how much you've had. Okay. But with mushrooms, insofar as taking small doses, okay, so now we've got something where it's like, yeah, you could take small doses and get benefit. You can get the benefit of, increasing the feeling function a little bit, while also creating a differentiating by creating a different vantage point, sort of slightly shifting your models. And you might not realize that the way that you're perceiving your experience, the way that you're thinking about your world, about the things that are happening in it, about the things that you're doing, about the feelings that are coming up, it gets sort of streamlined into a very narrow bandwidth. And with a microdose, you could get to a place where, oh, it's slightly different now. Oh, I have a slightly different capacity to think about this slightly differently. And in that creativity, oh, there might be a shift in framing, and that shift in framing could create positive outcomes.